To securely delete data from storage media, you have to apply a specific secure deletion method based on the type of media your data is stored on. That's very crucial. So first you need to determine the media type before you know how to securely delete the data. You will have to consult the documentation on your storage media if you're not sure. When it comes to traditional mechanical drives, magnetic storage, those with the spinning disks like you can see here, you are probably already aware that when you delete a file using, for example, Windows, Mac OS X, Linux, and most other operating systems, the standard delete doesn't actually remove the file from the hard drive. Even if you delete it from the trash or the recycle bin, it still remains. In order to save time and resources, the operating systems simply mark the sector containing the data as unused. The file will remain recoverable on the hard drive until sometime in the future when the operating system overrides that unused sector or marked as unused sector. And that could be within seconds, or it could literally be within years. So that data can stay remaining on your drive, but just marked as unused. And again, we're referring to mechanical drives here at the moment. So assuming the sector hasn't been overwritten, rescuing the data is a relatively trivial task, and many recovery programs are available to do it. And here's a selection of them. These are relatively simple to use. You point them at a file system and click scan, and it goes out and finds files that are within unused sectors. In order to make sure that files do disappear, data has to be overwritten over the files that you're trying to remove to securely delete it in order to make it unrecoverable. And there are plenty of tools to do this secure deleting or overwriting, and they're all pretty simple to use. You simply select the file in the folder and tell it how many times you want to override the data, and then it goes ahead and does that. So let's go through some tools that can do that on the various operating systems. For Windows, we have the tool Eraser. If we pop here, we can download it. It also has a portable version. Another tool I recommend is File Shredder, which you can download from here. And just to give you a quick example of how Eraser works, it's really just a case of simply right-clicking, and then you can erase. You have options here for how to erase, whether you want to do it immediately or not, and then yes. You can see here we've got the icon in the bottom right for it. We can open the eraser, and then in here, importantly, we have the scheduled task, so it will schedule to delete files that you choose or folders you choose to delete if you want to schedule them. And then you've got options here, and the main options that are relevant is the default file erasure method, and we'll discuss what this means shortly. This is the number of passes or number of times it will delete over it, and this is the method by which it will delete it for the drive erasure. And this also allows for plausible deniability. You can erase deleted files and replace them with the following files in order to provide plausible deniability. So instead of the data being completely random on your disk after you've deleted it, this will have non-random data taken from the files that you're using here. In Mac now, depending on your version of the operating system, there are slightly different options. There is a secure delete option within Finder. On Yosemite, as an example, if you move something into the trash, and then you click on the Finder menu and click Secure Empty Trash, and that will override over the files that are in there. Other options include using an alternative finder such as Pathfinder, which is very popular. That has its own secure delete functionality. On the command line, you have SRM. We'll do -- help so we can see the options here for this. So basically, you can do SRM and then the file name, and that will delete the file. And with no parameter specified, it uses this 35 pass Gutman algorithm. That means it wipes over the file 35 times. So then we've got rid of file 1 there. If we use the -S option, we can see it overwrites with a single pass. And if we use the -M option, it overwrites with the 7-pass US Department of Defense method. And if you want to do a directory, we're going to need an R there instead. Now, in terms of the pattern to use, whether it's S, M, or any other option, in terms of the other tools, 7-pass, 35-pass, 1-pass, the deleting pattern should be at least a single write pass with a fixed data value, such as all zeros. Multiple write passes or more complex values may optionally be used, but 7 passes would be more than enough. And the 35 pass, such as the Gutmann method, is just simply not necessary. It's actually a waste of time, and it's a myth that it is needed based on an incorrect reading of an old research paper that has been perpetuated. The myth has been perpetuated, and this 35 pass Gutmann standard you'll see in everything now. But as I said, it's just a myth that's been perpetuated on an incorrect analysis of an old paper. A single overwrite pass with a fixed pattern such as binary zeros typically hinders recovery of data, even if state-of-the-art laboratory techniques are applied to attempt to retrieve the data. There has been no reported case of anyone using a magnetic force microscope to recover overwritten data. The attack remains theoretical and confined to the older hard disk technology. So 1 pass should be enough, but if you really want to cover all of your bases, 7 passes, but certainly 35 passes is way over the top. On Linux, there are a number of secure delete options. You can get SRM as well for Linux, apt-get install and then secure-delete. That'll get you SRM. Slightly different switches though than what there is on Mac. There's also the shred command, which you can see here. And you've got the switches for that there. So -F, we're going to force the change permissions. N, we can change the number of times that it writes over it. U, you can use U if you want the actual file to disappear, because without U, what it'll do is it'll just delete the content. And Z to add a final overwrite with zeros to hide the shredding. So ls -la. So if you do something like that, -V for verbose, force Z, U to write over the file or delete the file off, not just the content, -N for the number of times. That's going to delete over file 1. And there you go. File 1 is gone. Other options are DD, which you can use, and there's also wipe as well, which you can use. So plenty of options in Linux. So that's the traditional mechanical drive and how to securely delete files. We will cover deleting free space and wiping completely the hard drive shortly too, on both mechanical and solid state drives. But next onto solid state drives for file deletion.